What's up, Juventus? Alberto here. I got all your Juve news, all right, and we're going to talk about the target list as it continues to grow. It's already big, and now it's growing even bigger, focusing on the midfield and fullbacks with Giuntoli actively scouting during Champions League. We'll take a look at the list of players there, and then as far as Juve's current roster, major changes could be coming this summer. We've got a growing list of players that could be saying goodbye to Juventus, and then of course we're going to take a look ahead to this big match against Atalanta. They're all big, but we're also going to take a look at how it's shaping up for a top four finish as Juventini are getting very nervous, and we're going to take a look at some of the numbers behind it. All right, so like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is the AJC. Let's rock. First things first, Giuntoli actively scouting, and yes, it's going to be involved in the midfield. All right, Coop Miners, who is said to be one of the main targets for Juventus, does have a lot of interest. All right, Liverpool, Manchester United are just two of the clubs apparently looking at the midfielder, valued at 60 million euros. This could be a difficult swing for Juventus, and you know Atalanta, they will sell high. That is their MO. So without Juve sacrificing a player, which it has been listed of Sule being potentially that player, this could be a very difficult move for Juve. So he could be out. Now we start to look at some of the other targets. Well, apparently Giuntoli was actively scouting Merino from Real Sociedad. Merino was also linked with Juventus before Giuntoli had arrived. So he's kind of been this common name that's shown up and kind of popped up around Juventus. But apparently Giuntoli was also scouting Lenormand, the center back that has a 60 million euro release clause. That release clause is very, very high, so who knows? But add these two players to the back pocket and we'll see what happens there. But as far as the midfield goes, beyond Merino, apparently Ferguson, and like we've been hearing over the past couple days, his name's starting to be mentioned as a top target for Juventus. Ferguson, Sudakov, and Samardzic, names that we heard a lot during the winter mercato, still very much at the list, and those three are being tipped as being top of the list for Juventus, and that would make sense with the situation around Koop Manners and the price tag. So again, who knows what's going to happen? It could go many different ways. In keeping with the scouting, fullback situation could be changing at Juventus. Maybe finally this push for a four-man back set, all right? But Giuntoli's been looking at Mazraoui of Bayern, and this is not new for Juventus because it's also being rumored, and we do remember the rumors. Last summer, apparently Juventus approached Mazraoui about joining. They could be looking there again. And then you also have Reinildo from Atletico, 30-year-old left back that Juve is actively scouting and has inquired about, according to Mirko Di Natale. So there you go. There's more to add to this growing list for Giuntoli. All we could do is hurry up and wait. We'll see if anything develops. As far as Juventus goes, our current roster, we could see some major changes, all right? Sandro apparently has already been informed this is his final stay with Juventus. As far as season's concerned, they will be saying goodbye. Milik, who has not had a strong season by any means, his stay at Juventus could potentially be coming to an end. It would take a very strong turnaround to see things change. He's also slated to start against Atalanta in the absence of Dusan Vlahovic due to suspension through cards, all right? Illing Jr., without an extension there and the interest coming from England, he could be sold this summer. All right, Timothy Weah, who literally just joined us this season, he could also be leaving Juventus as well, and his stay could be cut extremely short. All right, Moise Kean, trained with the team, will be back on the team list for the Atalanta match, but he could also be one we say goodbye to. If we're looking at this, all right, and you have 5-6 names right there, all right, that we could be saying goodbye to. What does that say? If you have this many players, okay, this many players that we want to pin a 3-year build to, that tells me everything about this current project and this build that we've been going through. It hasn't really been much of a build at all right? And that's kind of the point I've been trying to make for several weeks. And this is kind of evidence that this build hasn't really taken shape as of yet. I would say this season is almost, year one. But we will see what happens. Top 4 finish. Speaking of this Atalanta game, it's going to be crucial. And as far as top 4 finish goes, you've got fans that are starting to get seriously concerned. I stated yesterday in a YouTube short, I'm sure most of you have seen it, that we have some things that we have to stick to in order to get through this and snap out of this funk. But as far as the confidence level, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10 on Juve finishing in a top 4 spot? I am still very confident, all right? I'm around an 8 or 9 in finishing in the top 4 because I'm not convinced of teams from 5 down and even 4 down, to be honest. And there will be some drops there from them as well. For us, it's simply doing what's working, balance out the lineups, your starting 11s, and get after it, all right? We will snap out of it. I think the defensive solidity will return as well. I can't see us dropping out of there, but we've got 4 bottom 10 teams out of these next 11 games, all right? 7 of them are in the top 10, 4 of them in the bottom 10. And with our current form, fans are getting nervous, but I am not nervous. Like I said, I'm not convinced by a lot of the teams that are in that top 10. They're all beatable. For Juventus, the story very much remains the same. We are our own worst enemy, and we have to stop that. Max needs to stop overthinking it. You need to keep some dynamic play in the midfield. You need to stop clinging to the golden children, all right? If they ain't delivering, you move on, all right? Keep it going with the same lineup. He's probably going to have his hands forced like we talked about. No McKennie, no Rabiot. They aren't set to come back for Atalanta. So we should see the same lineup. And I would go with the same exact lineup. Obviously, we won't have Vlahovic, but insert Milik there. Everything else, keep it the same. Other than bringing in Danilo. I would bring in Danilo, okay? But keep it the same. And let's get things going and let's rock. I think they could build a lot and still a lot to hold their head high about in that Napoli game. Because if they finish properly, that game is a victory for Juventus. Keep it rolling against Atalanta. Agree, disagree? Hit me in the comments. Let me know how you feel about top 4. Let me know what you think about these targets that we're adding to the list, all right? You guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's mix it up in the comments. I'll be back tomorrow with more news. As always, fino alla fine, forza Juve. Ciao tutti.